Welcome to Jobs in Tech. Welcome to the show today. In the house, Mr. Brad Anderson. What's the
What's up,
world
Mr.
of
Bobby?
tech? Yeah, I'm doing well. Doing well.
Good.
Life is good.
Yeah,
What's
did you have a
going on?
good Thanksgiving? Everything good?
Thanksgiving was good. I only gained 4 pounds.
No, I gained like 10.
I thought I was going to do better, but
Right,
as far as gaining.
right. Well, you did fine.
It's good.
Right.
So we're here talking about tech. It's just you and me today.
Just you and me.
And we're talking about some tech stuff.
Are we?
Yeah, jobs in tech. We're
Okay.
talking about what's going on. And with that said, look, you want to just jump right into it?
Yeah, we can jump in. So this episode, I think we're just going to kind of do like a state of tech and just, figure out, what's going on with the landscape and figure out, what sort of skills you have. So yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah. So with that, let's start off with what is the landscape looking like in the last year?
Yeah.
What's the evolution that has happened between last year and now? It's been pretty volatile, right?
It's
changed a little bit.
just a wee bit, nothing big. I say that facetiously, but it's totally flipped on its head. So it's gone from a candidate market to an employer market within the span of that year.
And just so people understand what that means that are listening, what does that mean?
Yeah. So when we're in a candidate-driven market, that means the candidates have more of the power. They have
There's
more
a
of the control.
plethora of jobs for the folks out there
Exactly.
looking for them.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that leads into higher salaries. That leads into more money in your pocket. That leads into being able to choose where you want to work. When we're in an employer market, it's a little bit more tighter and it's a little bit more restrictive. Now,
Because now you've got more people looking for jobs than jobs that are out there.
I
Is
wouldn't
that
even
correct?
say not even people
Mhm.
looking for jobs. It's just the fact that companies are saying, yeah, well, maybe we don't need that position right now. Maybe we should hold off on that. So
Because of the economy, because of the world right
Exactly.
now, that
Whatever.
kind of stuff.
Yep.
Everybody's kind of in this holding pattern, which means that
Exactly.
the job flow that was a year ago isn't happening now.
correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
And what does that mean to people looking for jobs? I mean, do they have to? I guess they have to step up their game.
Absolutely, they do. I mean, that just means there's more people applying to the same jobs as them, so they got to make sure that they stand out more than the other person.
So does that mean? So where are we in the line of entry level? So we got guys in
Yeah.
school. They're going to school. Guys, girls, whatever. We're going to school, and what is it looking like the job market for entry level jobs? Those beginning jobs, is that still a good space? What's going on in there?
Yes, I mean, I still think that they're going to be readily available. However, as anybody in tech knows, getting your first job in tech is always the hardest.
Yeah,
And until
because
you
they
break
want
through,
experience.
exactly.
And how do you get experience if every job out there wants you to have
Exactly.
experience?
So you're still going to have to apply to hundreds of companies. You're still going to have to do your due diligence. In that regard, do your networking. Make sure you're on LinkedIn. Find groups that you're passionate about your specific skill set on, and network with them. Get to know people there. That will help you immensely.
Yeah,
So yeah, are there more available? Absolutely.
because they're still entry level jobs.
Yep.
They're just weighting down the entry level folks with more responsibility. Is that kind of what's happening right
Well,
now?
I mean, I think it's the mix of both. I mean, a company's greatest strength and weakness is its workforce. So if you don't have enough, then you're going to overburden your current people.
Mm.
If you have too many, then obviously you have to trim the fat and get rid of some. So an entry-level person is kind of that bridge in between where you can get somebody fairly cost-effective and still be able to groom them and train them and help them grow into what you want them to be.
Mm. And I guess this is kind of a cyclical thing, right? I mean, eventually we'll come back around and there'll be more job opportunity. I mean,
Exactly.
that's historically what's always happened. I know everybody talks gloom and doom
Right.
and crap like that, but the fact is it always comes back around. Industries
Yes.
will grow,
Yep.
and the beautiful thing right now, I think, for entry level positions is there might be a more of an opportunity there and a more opportunity to learn and get that experience that maybe you couldn't have
Absolutely.
gotten in a different market.
And I think right now you're in a good time. I mean, you're seeing the emergence of AI and things like that. That's something that's totally been untapped. You can definitely set yourself apart by learning more command prompts to use AI in. That's something that we're companies haven't even realized that yet. They
I
don't
don't even know
it's
what
so
it is yet.
powerful.
They're still,
I think they know what it is. They just don't know how to utilize it.
yeah.
And if you can get a leg up and start to understand the prompts and how to use it to help a company, you're going to be well off. You're going to be ahead of the crowd. You're going to be setting yourself way apart.
So with that said, then I think we're going to have to kind of talk about the state of the industry right now. What's hot out there? I think you kind of just
Yeah, I mean, I
put it
kind
out
of
there.
I kind of dove into it a little bit, but I mean, in terms of like
AI is the
absolutely.
big monster in the room, but it's not the only thing out there
No.
that's in demand right this second.
No, not at all. I mean, as much as good tech as there is out there, and as much as AI is doing, we still have to defend against it. So
Cybersecurity.
exactly,
It's
cybersecurity is always going to be
always a
growing.
thing.
It is.
We're always going to need folks to protect.
Need to stay
As
ahead
long
of
as there's
the bad guys.
technology, yeah, and that's even a great industry, would you say, to start in,
Absolutely.
to be there at the beginning and
That
kind
would
of
be
get
a
your feet wet.
fantastic
I
one.
know people ask me all the time, hey, what should I specialize in? And I always say that
Yeah.
security is usually always a safe bet.
Yep.
I mean, you'll pretty much always have a job.
You will. You really will. I also think like the Internet of Things is becoming really popular.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see companies have endless possibilities of what they can do with the Internet of Things and how they can implement it into our daily lives. So I think you're starting to see companies kind of pop off with little things like that. So that's definitely in the works as well.
Anything cloud based, right? Anything
Cloud-based as
cloud,
well.
anything in the cloud, anything that's taking things away from the
Yes.
office and putting it out where the business owners no longer have to worry about it.
Exactly.
The corporations
Companies don't have to worry
don't
about
have to worry about infrastructure and all of
Exactly.
that stuff anymore. They just pay for the third party whatever,
it, and you're good to go.
so that industry is ripe. It's definitely not going anywhere for a while, at least.
Nope.
This is our future for sure.
Absolutely. I think it is. Well, and technology in general. I mean, in my personal opinion, I mean, there's so much technology. We're not going to see an influx of too many people in the industry for at least another 40 to 50 years. So technology is not going anywhere. It's going to continue to thrive. It's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to push forward.
Yeah, I think another one too that's always kind of a staple is healthcare, right?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, there's always going to be technology that needs to move
Yep.
the healthcare forward, and
I
they're
think-
going to need people to run that.
Absolutely. Healthcare, manufacturing. I mean, the way I look at it is think of it, how were things when COVID was around? You had essential workers. All of those types of fields, they're still going to be around, and they're still going to continue to be around.
Yeah.
What about you? I mean, is there anything on your end that you're seeing from like any of your clients where you think they'll kind of be, you can see them lasting for a while?
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot. I think the big thing, and I kind of said it already, that taking stuff out of the office,
Oh, absolutely.
that is the future. I mean, on-prem stuff is just not.
No.
It's going away.
Oh,
I mean,
totally.
eventually, we won't see servers and stuff in corporation or corporate
Right.
buildings. It's just not. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing it a lot in the real world, even with small companies. I mean, especially I think with small companies. Smaller companies are
that would make more
totally
sense.
getting away
Yeah.
with infrastructure, and I think that says something for my industry specifically. The IT support,
Mm-hmm.
technology support industry is there's so many of these MSPs out there
Yeah.
that sell hardware, and they make a lot of their revenue selling hardware. I think those guys
Okay.
are going to have a hard time if they don't understand that
The market.
the real market here is service.
Absolutely.
Service is it's assisting people in running their stuff, third party things or whatever. That is the future. And if you don't run with that, if you don't grow with that, if you don't move forward with that, you're gonna be left behind.
That's
And probably
interesting.
go out
Yeah.
of business.
I mean,
truthfully.
I've always thought that's just the way it was. I mean, I just figured that the add-ons were just bonus. It should be about the customers, and it should be about the service side, making sure that the client's happy and taken care of.
Yeah, I personally kind of believe that selling hardware is kind of a conflict of interest. Now, most MSPs do it, so I
Right.
mean, it is
What it is.
what the practice is. But I still, me personally, my company does not. We are a strict service company. We do not sell hardware.
That's good to know.
Okay. Now, I've been out to lunch with a few other MSP owners and stuff, and I know one of them was telling me they did like 6 million in revenue, whatever the year we were talking about, and 70% of that was hardware sales.
Wow, really?
70%. So
Wow.
that, if you don't change that, in my opinion, if you don't change that mindset to trying to make money by selling hardware, you're going to be hurt
Oh, I
here,
totally
here
agree
in
with
the
you on that
future.
one.
Not
Yeah.
very long.
No.
Not very long away. So anyway, that's my kind of 2 cents
Okay.
in my world.
Yeah, of course.
That everything is going to be in the cloud. The Internet of Things is going to be the connection of all business.
Absolutely. Quite honestly, and this is maybe just me being a little naive, I'm surprised we're not there yet.
It's funny because industry, you know how companies are.
Absolutely.
They move slow,
Snail space.
and they take on that. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That
Right,
is true.
and there's a lot. Hey, we've had servers. We pay for these servers. This is in-house. This is how we've done things ever since I can remember. We've been going for 25 years,
Right.
and that's how everything is set up. So until stuff dies,
Well, that makes sense too, because I mean, the way I'm thinking about it is, it's probably cheaper to replace one burned out server versus if you have multiple, versus trying to move to the cloud.
moving it all to the cloud.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but it is going to
Just
be
time.
little by little because corporations
Okay.
do that. They wait. They use that technology until they absolutely have no choice. And
Makes sense.
it's a few years out
Okay,
still.
fair enough.
But I mean, I know so many companies, bigger companies now, that are just little by little,
Okay.
everything is going to the cloud. But
That makes sense.
we got a few years,
Okay.
but still, I think that is definitely the future in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that front.
So with all of that said, so for people out there looking for jobs or whatever, and I think we both know the answer to this,
We do.
how important is specialization to your job market?
To me, it is what sets you apart. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Is how do you separate yourself? How do you distinguish yourself out of a crowd full of 300 applicants for one job?
Yeah.
Well, it's all in the skill set. It's all in specializations. What are you doing differently? How are you different from everybody else?
In business, we have this thing, this mantra or whatever that people say that riches are in the niches.
Absolutely.
And that's the business. You find a niche in business, and then you market to that niche or whatever. And I think this is kind of the same thing. If you niche down to be the expert in something instead of the jack of all trades,
Yes.
you're more desirable.
Absolutely.
So
And
find
especially if
something
you're, well, yes, but you have to make sure that your specialization is something that's utilizable.
Yeah, if
You know,
you're the expert of whatever nobody
Exactly.
cares about, that's not good. Yeah,
Yes.
so you do have to do your due diligence.
Right.
So we're back to make sure you're niching down into AI somehow,
Yeah, I mean-
or cloud
Yes.
experience, or whatever, right?
Yes, I mean, I could even go so far as to say, like, if you even want to specialize in a particular product, look at that product and understand: is this going to be around for a while? Is this going to be something that the industry's adopted? Is it a big player in the area? Those are things that are going to help you understand if that's maybe something you're passionate about and you want to go into. Know the market.
No, the market.
Know what it's about.
Yeah, so specialization is everything. I mean,
Oh,
if
absolutely.
anybody that's listening, if you're in the tech space or want to be in the tech space,
Specialize.
specialization. And
You have to.
it seems like it used to be that way in the beginning of tech. We all kind of had our own lanes that we went down. We had backup specialists and
Right.
we had database guys, and it's still like that. But then every resume out there was, do you know this? And it was 40,000 different things. And it's like, dude, this is like a superhero. This is Spock. I mean, come on.
Exactly. I mean, that's not going away. I mean, companies still try to do that, and that's where it's for people like me who are in the recruiting space to kind of help educate and put them back on the right track to say, you can't have a whole IT team in one person.
Yeah.
What is your priorities? What do you want? What's the most important need that you have?
So how do you specialize when you have job postings that are that kind of crap?
Well, you just figure out what you like. If you like to write code in Java, focus on being a Java developer. Be up on the latest industry updates. Join Facebook groups, Slack channels, anything you can to understand the market. That's how you specialize.
Mm.
You are the expert when it comes to Java, and the same thing for anything else, whether that's cyber, whether that's certain softwares. Know what's going on in your industry or your market.
Yeah. So with all of that, what are the hot things out there? I mean, I think we're kind of hammering this in, but there's a reason for that.
Exactly.
This is important, guys.
Absolutely.
This is important. This is what's happening in the future. So what is the desirable stuff out there? You seeing, in the job market and dealing with the companies and corporations that you deal with, what are you seeing out there?
From a higher level, what I can see is more engineering. Now, we've talked about, AI and what that looks like, but my prediction is in the next 3 to 5 years, companies are going to understand how to use AI, and your everyday developer is going to go away. Now, having said that, they're going to need AI specialists who understand how to do the right prompts.
Which need to kind of be an engineer to understand how to do the right
And
prompt.
you're also going to need to understand, you're going to need the engineering or the architecting side, which is what an engineer does. They understand
Because
the
you gotta have
whole
QA.
picture.
When it comes to AI, it's great and it's awesome, but you better QA.
Exactly. So, well, and even before QA, you need to understand how you want it to be built out. You got to understand the process and the steps that it takes. And that's what architecting
And
does.
I should change that. It's QC, quality control,
Yeah.
not QA.
I knew what you meant.
Question
Yeah.
and answers. Oh, down.
Right.
People listening. That dumbass one.
It's QC. No, sadly I didn't catch it either. My mind knew what you were talking about, so I'm right there.
Hopefully, yeah. But anyway,
But yeah, so I mean, just understanding the architecture of things, understanding the higher level and the reason, the build out of how you want to build whatever you're building, understanding those steps and understanding how to execute on those steps, and then using AI prompts to help with the first part or the first leg of that project. That's where AI is going to come into play, and it's going to come in heavy.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to be very, very good at pivoting. I kind of
Absolutely.
feel that we can't just, we've said you need to focus in, but then you can't just focus in and not pivot.
Agreed.
You have to be able to go with the flow because technology is changing so fast. Things are moving so quickly.
Absolutely.
That it's a job just to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny because I was actually talking to a software engineer the other day, and it took me a minute to understand his train of thought, but what he basically said was companies need to start rethinking how they architect things, and we're having a bit of a struggle in the industry because the way we've set it up in the past is not the way moving forward of how we need to go. And so there's this internal conundrum with how do we do it going forward? So I didn't understand what he meant, but the more I thought about it, I think he's right. So many times we just have these developers or these engineers come in and they basically just patch or work on top of the process and continue on. We're getting to the point where we can't do that anymore. So you need to understand from the beginning, how do you want to architect it? How do you want it laid out? And then build off of that. So it's coming, and I think it's going to be an interesting time when it does.
Yeah. Well, overall, what do you think the future looks like for the job world, for tech, people in tech, people that want to stay in tech? I mean, it's not going anywhere.
No.
Technology is always going to be
there.
supported.
Yes.
It's always going to need people to do it. But what do you think? What do you see in the next 5 years?
I want. I don't want to go 5 years. I'm gonna
5 years is
do
a long
in
time in the
technology.
tech
That's a long
space.
time. I'm gonna say over the next year, I think you're gonna see 2024 be a lot like 2023. I think there's still gonna be. It's still gonna be hard to find a job, but I still think you're gonna be able to. I think companies are really gonna be standoffish. I think they went this past year and they realized they can get by with little. So I think that trend is going to continue at least through 2024. Don't. Hopefully that's not discouraging. There will still be jobs out there, but it's going to be, again, like we discussed earlier. You're going to need to separate yourself even more and learn how you are different from every other 300th applicant.
So are you really everybody's gonna have to be on their A game? Everybody's gonna have to be an A player?
No.
Is there any jobs out there for B players, C players?
I don't think you need to be an A player. I just think you need to understand your specialization. And if you can understand your specialization, then you'll be just fine. But you do have to do your homework and your due diligence and stay on top of what's going on in your specialization.
Okay. There it is. Well, my 2 cents
Right.
for the future is stay the
think?
path.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I think we're going to
stay the path.
Yeah.
Stay the path. I think you're right. We don't see 2024 being much different in the tech space
No.
as far as jobs go and that kind of stuff until. Unfortunately, after like the presidential election and
Right.
stuff like that, we're in a weird flux thing, and nobody understands what's going on in our country.
The way I'm kind of looking at it though is, it's almost like pretend you're heating up popcorn in like the microwave or on the stove, and I think this lack of job creation is just creating this bent up like container, and eventually it's going to pop. We don't know when it's going to pop, but eventually it's going to pop, and then when it does, companies are going to be like, oh my gosh, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Yeah.
So it will get there. It's just stay the course for now, continue down the path, and then move forward.
I think you're right. Cool. Awesome. Any last words?
No, I think I pretty much got it
I
all.
think this is just our update, jobs in tech.
Yep, state of tech, where
State
it's
of
at.
tech, where it's at. From our point of view,
Exactly.
because we're sitting in
We're
the
just
middle
two
of it.
nobodies.
Yeah, well, but we're sitting in the middle of it, right?
Right.
We kind of see what's going on
We
in
do.
the world, and listen to us or don't. But
Exactly.
it's super fun. The tech space is still gonna grow, and we're still
It
gonna
is.
get more. And so there's no, be positive.
Exactly. Actually, I did have one more word.
Yeah.
We are always looking for guests on the podcast.
Hmm.
If anybody is interested, or if anybody knows anybody that we should have on the guest, we would love to hear from you guys. We want to know what you think are the great companies that you want to hear about and who you want us to interview. So you can email us at
Info.
no, it's a podcast
Podcast at TechBridge.
at techbridging.com. Yep. So if you just want to email us there, or you can give us a call, we'd love to hear from you and understand what companies you want us to interview.
Awesome. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. You have been listening to
Monster Truck.
Yeah, put my monster truck voice in. Thanks for listening to us, guys.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time. This is Jobs in Tech, and we'll see you next time.